Good afternoon, Coward football families. Coach Sneed, and I hope you've had a relaxing weekend, a great Sunday afternoon with family, church, whatever you guys choose to do on Sundays. I know I have. I apologize. It's been a very busy weekend, finalizing things after the scrimmage and practice yesterday, and then coaches getting together, and of course, being that we were in preseason, having late nights as long as we did over the last few weeks, I wanted to catch up with my family. So but like on getting information out to you guys, I know a lot of people are anxious and trying to figure things out. And so I want to make sure that I sent the information out once, and I apologize I haven't answered all the questions as they've come through. But rather than repeating myself several times, I want to put together a video, update the band app calendar, and give you guys details on what the upcoming week looks like. So first and foremost, again, I want to congratulate our family, our football players, our coaches, everybody's involved for a really great preseason. Other than the injuries that we've had, one of them being a year-ending injury for David White, and then still trying to discover and figure out exactly what Landon's condition is. We were able to rule out a fracture with the X-ray, waiting on a report from the MRI. Eddie and his heat-related illness that he suffered on Leonardtown seems to be bouncing back just fine. Carl with his issue with his head and possible symptoms of being hit in the head. He seems to be coming back pretty good from that. And then we've had other guys who have had a flu and so because of that they've missed some time. But it seems that outside of those things, everybody seems to be healthy and strong. And so looking forward to get back to another practice week, be it a different practice week, because now we're no longer in preseason, so the days will look a little different. And so I want to go through that with you guys. I also want to offer up to the parents, if you will, and I'll send details to that. And what that meeting's for is for any parent, even a player, but primarily parents or family members who have questions about anything that's happened up to this point or anything concerning going forward. I want to just give a platform in which we can do that. We hosted an opportunity for me to get together with anybody who had questions following the the boosters night during our fall kickoff for the fall sports. I wasn't able to help anybody out. Nobody seemed to have questions because no one showed up, but I don't want to assume that all questions are answered and everybody's up to beat and comfortable with the way things are rolling out, especially now we're starting school. So with that, let's go ahead and look at the band app and go over the practice schedule for the week. Okay, on the band app, pulling it up on my computer, you have the opportunity at the top to look at events, attachments, albums, posts, so forth, so on. We're still kind of learning and trying to figure it all out and understanding how this all looks to you guys and to us. Of course, it looks different on our actual phones, and that's obviously where we spend most of our time looking at this. But there are notifications that come up, and specifically the notifications for practice this week were to be determined until today when I was able to go in and adjust these times. And so day one, obviously, for school, for everybody, is tomorrow. And of course, you guys will be riding the bus or transporting yourself in or hitching a ride with your parents to school and getting ready to have a great, fantastic first official school day of the year. But practice one will go right at 2:35, gives them a chance to get down to the field house. We'll meet in the field house and we'll go to 7 p.m. During this practice, and this is kind of how we like to start the week off, we're going to have speed development. We're going to have Cavalier time, which is our character development time with Coach Berger. We're going to have film where we go over the game plan of the week and discuss our opposition. We're going to go over practice for offense and defense for both groups, blue and gold, and then we're also get some lifting in, and that will go till 7 o'clock. And I say that this is the way we want it to go on a typical Monday, first day of the week for our upcoming opposition. As you guys have seen, our schedule is not that or structured or consistent. And so this type of practice here in which we do these pieces will fall on a different day depending on the week. It looks like it might fall on Saturdays typically, Obviously not this Saturday, because this Saturday is the first official gold game, but typically it would fall on a Monday, but we're hoping to get these on Saturdays, and which means that, different than in the past, the gold group will be coming in on Saturdays. I don't think it's too different for you guys as parents and for players, because you guys as youth ball players had your games on Saturdays. But it is different for us, and we know that the amount of effort, energy, and time commitment that's required of you guys through the regular season in high school as a JV guy or a gold guy is pretty rigorous compared to what you're used to. This is not ideal, but it does allow us to get together and do things, that I think can benefit us all and grow our relationship as leaders and mentors to you, and as players and Cavaliers in our community. So that's what Monday looks like. I go back here, and then we go Tuesday. So Tuesday, we're going to have an introduction to our student athlete academic support teams and the team leaders, and then that will lead into our practices. We want to get at least 2 days a week in which we have this covered for our student athletes. And what this is that we have 5 to 6 teachers that are kind of led by Miss Valentin, who's one of our support members of our program. Her husband's a big fixture in our program as well. But they're always around our kids, and she works in a school, and she is fantastic in coordinating this program for our young people, and then continuing to stay on top and encouraging our kids to be great students while when the season's over. So throughout the rest of the year, she's a great advocate for that, and a good connection for me to the guys, and for the guys back to me, and the guys back to their teachers. What a phenomenal resource she's been for us, and she'll continue to be for us in the future. But so she's going to introduce those team leaders, and we'll get a chance to kind of introduce and talk about what student academic support time looks like, what we're trying to cover, what we're trying to accomplish. Realistically, this could look different for any number of different kids, and we hope that the kids that need extra classroom time to work with a teacher that maybe struggle a little bit most of the time, they're going to get that. And then, of course, we hope that in the other extreme, that the AP student, the high academic student that does really well in school and has got their stuff dialed in, that we can give them some time to do that, put the earbuds in, and get to work. Nevertheless, this is going to be a very strong academic emphasis, and this is where we hope to continue to close that gap between not being just great Cavaliers on the field, but also great Cavaliers in the classroom. So that's what we'll do there. Then again, typically when we get into that structure, that will go from 2:35 to 3:15 each day. So the next day, we're going to go look at the 30th, which is, of course, Wednesday. And on that day, we're going to go 2:35 to 6:30. We'll have a program lift. We'll get the guys in the weight room, and then we'll have practice. Some people ask, well, that's 4 hours. You guys on the field for 4 hours? No, of course not. We generally try to get on the field after student athlete academic support time, or in this case, a lift, and get on the field approximately 3:35, 3:40, and have a 20-minute pre-practice in which the guys are snapping, catching, taking kicks, things like that before we even start our regular practice. And then we go from 4 to 6:30. And that's typically when our coaches will arrive and show up and be able to put our kids through the practice of the day. So then we go to practice week 1, August 31st, which is Thursday. So Thursday, again, at 2:35 to 6:30 practice. Depending on how the week goes, we may end up, reducing this. This, again, is a different, unique thing for us, because typically we would be practicing with the lights, but we're trying to save the field, allow it to continue to grow, and let Bermuda take over, and trying to stay off it as long as possible. And so we're trying to save it, even if it's another day or two, till Saturday morning when the gold team will be on the field. But nevertheless, we may shorten that. I'll let the guys know as we get closer to that. Maybe we'll make a change to band if it does get changed and moved to getting out earlier, but nevertheless 6:30. So then that takes us to the games. And of course, when you look at the games, and going back to the actual calendar of events, all right, we go to the first game. Blue is playing at St. Charles, so we'll be transporting to St. Charles to play there. We keep the kids after school. Anytime there's a game, be it gold or blue, we stay after school. If the game is going to be played in the evening on a Saturday for the Blue guys, or, after school, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, we're going to feed the guys. And that meal looks different for the varsity than it does for the gold or the blue than it does for the gold, simply because there's a longer time period between the blue kickoffs and the gold kickoffs. And truthfully, the money that we primarily spend per person for the gold group versus the blue group is a bit more, because we have to do some package meals for those guys. But that's how that operates, and that's how that goes. So the kids will get out 2:15, and they get down to the field house, and we start getting ready. We do a walkthrough, and then we'll go eat a meal, and then we'll come down, tighten things up, get on buses, get to St. Charles, and then on board there and get ready to rock and roll through our pre-practice routine and go out there and play a great game with St. Charles. Saturday morning, obviously we have St. Charles at home with our gold group. And so we'll have the guys report about 7:30. So that way we can get them ready and get out there and start to warm up. Again, that time may be a little different, but we'll talk about that as we get closer to the end of the week. But that's when the gold guys are going to play at 10 o'clock contest. So that's what that looks like. And then the next week, we play nothing on Monday, nothing on Tuesday. We have a varsity game on Saturday, and we'll play Chapcon on the following Monday with our gold group. So an interesting week that'll set up. Again, a longer week, so we'll be able to get some other things accomplished that we don't typically get to accomplish when we play on a Friday and a Thursday, or a Monday and a Friday, but we'll get it taken care of. So that's what the week looks like going into it. And now let's get into some other details about what we can expect going into week one. Now, we've gone into the general readings of the day, and we talked about the schedule of the week. A lot of guys, and I understand why, have asked questions about, well, what does it look like for my gear and equipment and stuff? Well, we have locker rooms set up, and, I've encouraged the kids to take their stuff home, once a week to get cleaned. And I'm talking about their helmet and their shoulder pads. Obviously, their soft goods can go home as regularly as they'd like to keep them clean. We ask them to set them up in their locker, have them hanging so that way they can kind of air out between practices. But, specifically, we want those things cleaned more regularly than the helmet and shoulder pads and their cleats. But the helmet and shoulder pads and cleats can stay back. They have places for all those things, and we would encourage them to do so. I know that a lot of gold guys have taken their stuff home, and I'm getting the questions about, what do I need to do? Do I carry around through school day? No, you don't carry around through school day. But it will be a challenge for you to get off the bus in the front of the school and come all the way back to the back, put the stuff in the locker room, and get back to class. Now, tomorrow, we will have it open for you to do that. But we want to get into practice where we don't do that. So let's be strategic on when we bring our gear home and when we take it back. When we do get to a point that, let's just say you decide to take it home on, a Monday night, so we have it for Tuesday or whatever, we'll end up staging that stuff possibly in my lot coach's office, or my trailer 605. But in the case that we do that, we don't want everybody to do that on the same day. And we want to make sure that when you do that, you drop off stuff that doesn't stink. So that's what the gear looks like. I also going to highly recommend, this goes into us being, high level student athletes. And yes, this does have to do with both. Eating. Making plans to eat the right way to support what we do as student athletes. We have to fuel the mind. We have to fuel the body. We have to fuel the spirit, okay? When it comes to fueling the mind and fueling the body, that comes back to rest, and it comes back to exercise, and it comes back to nutrition. You guys can't get enough nutrition. You can't get enough water. You can't get enough rest. And so let's, choose what we do in our afternoons and our evenings when we get home to pertain primarily to getting our schoolwork done and getting our nutrition back into our bodies, drinking plenty of water, and getting to bed as early as we can to get a good night's sleep. These things will attribute to us growing throughout the season, staying healthy and strong, being able to concentrate in the classroom, and preventing injuries. That's number one. Number two, what does it look like then as an athlete to be able to make sure that I'm properly hydrated and I'm properly have the proper amount of nutrition in my body to perform as a great Cavalier in a classroom on the field? Well, here it is. You're going to eat breakfast. Everybody needs to get up and eat breakfast. Okay, so we got that. Second, you're going to eat lunch. Okay, now we have 4 lunch shifts. It could be 4th, it could be 5th, could be 6th, could be 7th. I don't look at those things as a problem because we have Cavalier time which we can eat, and you can snack in any other classroom that permits you to do so. As long as you respect the classroom and you don't do anything too crazy to draw attention to yourself, you should be able to eat something small in there and have a bigger meal when you hit lunch. And then after school, we have a time period in which you guys can eat there. Now, that does not mean we contact Uber Eats or we contact our brother or we leave campus to go get food and come back. Nope. Need to plan accordingly. We need to bring extra food that you can eat during student athlete academic support time, during Cavalier time, during film time, be it whatever it is, but you should have that. So that would mean you would have breakfast, you'd have lunch, you'd have some type of snack in between, and then you'd have something after school. And what do those things look like? Well, obviously breakfast could be whatever you need to get in your belly because you need to eat. Bagels, cream cheese, cereal. Obviously, these things are all things you can do. Eggs and bacon. If you're ambitious, I love it. Awesome. Pancakes, waffles, whatever. Your mid-morning snack. If you're not able to eat lunch until 7th period, it could be crackers and cheese. Could be peanut butter on an apple. Could be a peanut butter jelly. Could be a protein shake along with that. Could be granola bars. Whatever. And then you have a lunch, and your lunch could be chicken breast sandwiches. Could be the school lunch. Could be salad with pasta and meat on top. But every meal has to be balanced with a proper amount of nutrition that includes proteins, good carbohydrates, and minerals and nutrients that come from fruits and vegetables. We want less non-natural sugars, less simple sugars, and more complex carbohydrates and proteins over those other things. Then what can you have after school? Again, the same kind of thing we talked about in a snack. Peanut butter and jellies, chocolate milk is even good, protein drink, protein powder in water, granola bars, protein bars, whatever it could be. And that way, when you hit the field, you're well nourished. And when you get off the field, you can have something, maybe another protein drink right after you come off the field, maybe a Gatorade, banana, whatever. Eat it right as you come off the field, right in the locker room before you get in your car. You go home, you've had 5 meals for the day. All right, you're able to sit down, relax, have dinner after taking a shower. You can sit here and hang out with your family and not worry about, I'm tired, I can't. You're going to feel much more refreshed. You're going to feel much more coherent. You'll be able to do any extra homework you have done. You're going to sleep better. You're going to wake up the next morning better prepared mentally, psychologically. You're going to feel well rested. You're going to be able to perform better in the classroom and on the field. All these things matter. But it also equates to you getting 6 meals a day. And that's important. These are the things that any elite student athlete would do. So that's what you want to kind of pay attention to when it comes to that. Hydration. Drinking water all the time. Whatever theories you've heard on what a 2,000 calorie diet would be and what recommended totals are for nutrition for that does not qualify for you all, your student athletes. You need more than what they say in a 2,000 calorie diet. Number 2, when it comes to water, you need more than what's recommended for the daily person of 68 ounces a day. Many of you guys need to go through twice that amount. All right. And so I'm just going to tell you that if you're eating well, you can't drink too much water, okay, if you're eating well. Now, if you're only drinking water because you're hot, you don't want to eat, then that can become a problem too. But rarely we see that happen with young athletes in high school. So those are the things you got to do. Discount cards. Discount cards. We're almost closing out, and I really don't want to extend the date, but we have many guys who haven't met that goal of 15 to 20 cards. And I know it's hard for some of you guys, but I also know that there's opportunities at places like Jake's Produce, Captain Smith's, Tropical Smith. I mean, we have so many different places out that maybe you ask the person, you go in there and say, can I hang out outside your establishment and just ask people if they'd like to make a donation and buy one of these cards. Many of the things on the back of the card are people or businesses here locally in Prince Frederick that you guys could probably hang out in front of, and it's a 2-bang deal. Like, hey, buy this card now. You get to go in there in Domino's and buy a pizza and get a free pizza with it. But we need to get these cards sold because the resources that we gain from these cards go right back to you guys, buying extra helmets, buying extra gear, extra shoulder pads, offsetting the needs and repairing different types of uniform issues that we have, getting sideline equipment set up, new headsets, new iPads for us to do instant replay with between plays. All those things go into it. Not to mention, when we buy food like we had extra and we were able to feed everybody hot dogs and drinks and chips last Saturday, that all comes from a budget that we are able to build through resources gained by the fundraisers that we have. So we need you guys to make a legitimate effort to get those done. On top of that, the simplest way to do it is have you tapped into all the people in your contact list on your cell phone? Have you sent the link to your parents and had them contact everybody? And just send 20 to 30 contacts using the app, Gold Card app. You can just tap into your contacts on your phone and send 30 to 50, and then that increases your chances to reach more people, because not only do they have the choice of getting a digital card or the actual card in person, they're now locked into the countless amount of discounts that they can get online and throughout the nation. So let's get those sold. The blue game and the gold game, obviously this is week 1. We're playing St. Charles. Both squads are doing that. Excited about the opportunity to compete with St. Charles. I know Coach over there is excited to compete with us. It's something we haven't been able to do with these guys in a long, long time. It's been a long time since we played St. Charles. So it's going to be an exciting week. But let's not be remiss. All right, we are not just football players. Certainly we will not be defined by what we do on that scoreboard, but we're going to be defined by what we become through how we play that game. And the outcome of the scoreboard takes care of itself. And of course, how you play that game is predicated on how we do things at practice and how we do things in the community. And so we got to continue to raise the bar and be uncommonly great young men, and inspire our community to be awesome. And so we have the challenge and the quest after we come off a really great spring preseason in which you guys did a fabulous job of bringing great energy and juice to continue that effort and energy in the classroom in our community. Let's inspire the rest of our school culture to be something uncommon. Let's go ahead and set that tone. Let's be the light for everybody else to look up to, and wear that with a badge of honor, knowing that, hey, I want that. I want to wear this blue and gold, and I want people to look at me and say, hey, that's the way a Cavalier should be. I expect it. I'd love to see it, and I know you guys can do it. And so with that, let's strap in, let's dial in, let's get ready to rock and roll. I can't wait to see you guys throughout this week. We're going to talk about the rest of the week as we go on. We'll talk about the weeks to come, and I just look forward to continuing to work with you guys. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for filling my cup by blessing me with the opportunity to work with you. I can't wait to see you all tomorrow. Let's rise and shine and get after a great day. I'm out. Boom.